Let's see, expand, menu, reduce menu, that's better. Live chat, about, no. Where do you switch cameras at? I thought I could switch cameras. Do I not have? Camera not connected? Let's see. No, it's connected. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Hey, everybody. Somebody give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. Hello, Kevin. You can hear me? Great, great. I'm having a little trouble with my camera here now for some reason. I've got two cameras hooked up, and I wanted to switch between them in case we decided to, look at anything in the shop or whatever. But I'm not seeing the camera swap button, so I'm actually running through the camera on the laptop, which is not as good a quality as the webcam. Hello, everybody. Wow, a lot of people checking in early. Western Australia. Woo, hello, Philip. Man, welcome. A lot of people out here. Okay, let's see. How can we? Well, shucks. I thought for sure I could change cameras. Oh, well. Hey, it is what it is, right? Let's see. Live, 15 people on. That's great. Green Bay, Wisconsin. Wow. Hello, Kevin. Hey, everybody. Wow, people are coming in fast. It's scrolling up so quick I can't hardly keep up with it. That's good. So what guys, start telling me what you've been working on. Let's hear what you guys have been working on. Anybody got any projects going in their shops? Eddie from Colorado, my good buddy Eddie Stipe. Charlottesville, West Virginia, Mr. Dancy Pants. I don't know your first name, so hello, Mr. Dancy Pants. I won't be able to address you by name there. Sorry about that. Dave's Creations, Timothy Renetti. Ooh, man, that's fast. Daniel Allman, enjoyed the last two videos. Always good to see workarounds. Yeah, I had a lot of those lately. You guys will notice something about the workarounds. In the next couple of videos coming up, I'll be using the skew. I've decided it's time to get away from using the rough and gouge from start to finish. And basically, I'm moving my turning toward the skew. So hopefully, as I use that skew, I'll share tips or whatever, and you guys can kind of pick up some tips and maybe start using the skews in your shop as well. They put a real nice finish on the pin. You don't get as many tool marks. If you get used to using them, the catches go way down, which is a good thing. Let's see. And thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. Regular Virginia. Okay. That's for Mr. Dancy Pants. Stephen Frum. Hi from Livingston, Montana. Hello, Steve. Steven, I'm sorry. Some people go by Steve, some by Steven. My son, his name's Steven. He goes by Steve. So don't mean any disrespect there. Eddie Stipe, fireman pins. All right, Eddie. Very cool. Are those giveaways or a consignment? Dave's Creations. I'm working on more segmented blanks. I know segmented blanks are so cool because you can just, there's no rules, right? You can just do about anything. I love segmented blanks. Franklin Keeley, I'm late, but I'm here. Franklin, you are not late, my friend. It is 10:01. We started a few minutes early just because I can never get this thing working right. So I got to get in early to make sure it's working. Hello from Reno, Nevada. Hello, Jim. Hi from Michigan, home of Fago. Oh, man. That guy knows how to have an interest. Thanks, Timothy. Glenn Hayhurst, can you do a video on photograph? I talked to a guy named Tommy Stridham. Tommy is a still photographer from Australia. The dude is phenomenal, excellent photographer. And he said that he was going to put a video together on how to photograph pins, and then I'm going to share it on my channel and send people his way because I'm not a photographer. I don't know a lot about cameras and lighting and all that fancy stuff. And that's what Tommy kind of does as a hobby. And like I said, his Instagram will blow your mind. But hopefully we'll have something soon that will help you because I need to learn that myself. That's interesting for me too. Kevin Carpenter just got a brand new delivery. See, oh, a pressure pot. Dang, you got a real one too. You didn't get one of these fake ones like I got. Hello, Jacob. How are you doing? Paul, I turned my first Sierra style pin from some segmented maple herringbone pattern and some. Hey man, that's awesome that you made your own blank. And those Sierras are nice to turn, aren't they? Only one blank, and I mean you can knock them out pretty quick. I love the Sierra styles, which you probably can tell by every video I do. Dave's Creations made some cowboy pins. Very cool, Dave. I have not made the cowboy pin. A lot of people do though. A lot of people love that pin. I just haven't made one yet. I haven't. I don't know why. I just haven't. Franklin Keeley. I have a live oak bow. And ooh, okay. Franklin's got a live oak bow on his lathe. Eddie Stipe, giveaways. Yeah, Eddie. I kind of got sidetracked on giveaways. I've got some stuff here I need to give away, but the issue is I hit a lull in YouTube and did not have the money for shipping because the YouTube channel dropped way off on advertising and stuff. Hopefully, maybe this month, maybe next, but I do have a number of things I need to give away. Just don't have anything right now because shipping gets kind of pricey. Because I like to do open giveaways to where I can give away to not only this side of the pond but the other side. And for example, if I was to ship a blank to you in Colorado, it's like $3.80. If I was to ship that same blank to someone in the United Kingdom or Australia, it would be $15. So that's one of the reasons why the giveaways have kind of sloped off. I did that last one, and I had like 12 or 15 giveaways, and over half of them were overseas, and that got a little pricey. So I'm kind of holding up a little bit to kind of build up a little, and then we'll do some more giveaways. I promise we're going to have some more. I like doing them, so we're definitely going to do some. Andy B, I love my SKU, Smooth 400 finish. I know, man. That's the amazing thing. I figured out watching. I said Glenn Lucas, but watching John 60 Lucas, all together, JOHN 60 LUCAS. I watched some of his videos on sharpening the SKU, and I got a spot right here on my arm. I don't know if you can see that right there, but after I sharpened it, I took the SKU and ran it down my arm. It just shaved the hair off my arm. That thing is like a razor, and it's awesome when it's that sharp. It cuts so nice. And but that's who I've been watching is John Lucas. I keep saying Glenn because Glenn is another phenomenal turner, and his name pops into your head when you think of turning. But I love the finish I'm getting. Have you tried bleaching wood? I did one time. That's been a long time ago though. I used to have a pool, and I took some of that. I think it's called Shock It, and I mixed it in warm water until it no longer diluted. It just started settling to the bottom, and then I put wood in and bleached it. What I found was doing it that way, probably not the best way to do it, probably not the right way to do it, but I had a lot of, like when it dried, like white mineralization in the wood, whereas it dried, the Shock It, the chemical, the chlorine chemical, I guess it left like a powder or a dust in there, and I just didn't like how it looked, so I never did it again. I'm sure there's a better way, probably with liquid bleach that would work better. I don't know. Let's see. Just started turning again. I had a bunch of finishing. Man, finishing with CA is a pain in the neck until you figure it out. I always tell people, get you a block of wood and just turn it down and then finish it, and then turn it off and then finish it, and then turn it off and then finish it. Do that a few times just to kind of get in practice, because CA takes a touch. Once you have it, you can finish the pins, but man, it's a pain. Helmet says, hi there. Helmet from Schrebigmeister. Man, I'm sorry. I'm not pronouncing. I always tell everybody, I'm from the Midwest. We always pronounce everything wrong. But in Germany, wow. Welcome. Working on special fountain pens and some pins made from origin hop cast and resin. Wow. Okay, very cool. I'm going to need you to send me a photo when you get done. I'd like to see a picture of them when they're cast and a picture of them when they're turned. That sounds really cool. Please send me a photo. Mr. Dancy Pants, working on wood and resin hybrid jewelry. That is very cool. Rebecca, on 1/3 of our podcast, does a lot of jewelry. She does resin work and woodwork. You guys, something that I sent her a message. I'll ask her tonight on the podcast. She makes these blanks out of skateboards, and they're almost like herringbone, where she's putting all the pieces, they're overlapping, and they're amazing. And she has them for sale on her website. And I think they were like 3 for $30 shipped or $36 shipped. It was a very reasonable price. And I asked her what the lengths of them were, because if they're long enough for pins, I think they would be very cool. They'd make an extremely cool pin blank. So, but she does a lot of resin art jewelry and things like that. So check her out, man. She does some amazing stuff. Steven, scroll sawing, a golfer, and a vinyl record. That's cool. I wanted to do that. I've got a whole bunch of vinyl records here and a bunch up there. There's 78s that were given to me by my brother-in-law when I mentioned wanting to scroll saw some vinyl records, but I just never got around to putting a pattern on a record and scroll sawing it. Why don't you send me a photo when you're done? I enjoy seeing things like that. I would love to see it. Kevin Carpenter, California Air. Now, I've heard that this brings up a side note, a tangent. I heard that the air in California with the pandemic and everybody being sort of quarantined, I've heard the air quality in California has really shot up. I've heard that about a number of cities, which is it true? I don't know, but just been hearing that. Franklin Keeley, my internet sucks. It keeps freezing up on me. I can't keep up with the chat. Oh, sorry to hear that, Franklin. We had trouble last night. I was nervous about today because it happened after I sent out the notice that I wanted to do this. Our internet just bit the dust last night, and I was nervous, but they got it fixed. Fireman pins are a giveaway. Very good. Oh, I got it now. You answered my question earlier, giveaway, and I thought you were asking if I was going to have a giveaway. I got you, Eddie. Sometimes I'm a little slow on the uptake. Gary Mathis, I'm having trouble after gluing my tube in, cleaning it enough to slide on my sanding jig. I'm having trouble after gluing my tube in, cleaning it enough to slide on my, yes. What will happen is your sanding jig, you're using a punch and you slide the tube onto the punch to spin it on the sanding jig. You've got stuff inside of your tube, most likely CA glue. What you can do is, I use the Play-Doh trick when I use, epoxy, to keep the epoxy out of the tube. What you can do is, whenever you glue your tubes up, immediately check, glue it into the blank, immediately check and see if any of the CA, because when you push it in and you pull the tube out to kind of spread the CA, as you push it back forward, it just comes right over the edge of that tube into the blank, and or into the tube, and then basically it doesn't have the clearance that it needs because it's a pretty tight tolerance. So I'll try to wipe that. I'll just take a paper towel and I'll twist the end of it, and I'll try to kind of wipe that out as best I can. And then I use a little jeweler's file when that happens, and I'll look in there and you can see it, and I'll kind of file lightly inside of the blank to get rid of any of that dried CA. That can be a real pain. You'll also have trouble getting it on your bushings because it won't want to fit on those, but just try to keep that CA out of there. You can even put the Play-Doh in there and push it in, then later push the Play-Doh out. That works. People use wax, they use potatoes, all types of things to keep the glue out of their tubes, because it does cause a mess. Play-Doh helps. Oh, a tip from you. Oh, yeah, I see you. Okay. I'm catching up with the comments. Glad that helped. Billings, Montana, welcome. That's Gary. Kevin Carpenter, where are you at, RJB? I'm in the southern tip of Indiana. If you look at the state of Indiana, kind of comes down to a tip. I'm right in that tip. Easiest way to describe it. Just on the outskirts of Evansville. What about scorching a blank before finishing? Yeah, what do they call that? I can't think of the name of it. Shoshugiban, maybe. Is that right? Where they scorch it? I've never done that, but I've seen people who have, and it can make some pretty cool blanks. Shoshugiban. See, now you got me. I can't even remember what the heck it's called. You caught me off guard, but I know what you're talking about. That's interesting. I've never tried it, but I strongly urge you to. Just be careful. It can produce some pretty cool blanks. Else from Glenn. Hello, Zaxon Burley. Hello, Dave's Creations. Kevin, I'm from Appleton, Wisconsin. Okay, very good. Welcome, Appleton, Wisconsin. Help some. I need 911. Okay, need 911. Okay. You probably ought to not be on YouTube if you need 911. You probably should. You can ping your local police station with your computer instead of being on a live. Gary, plug the ends with Play-Doh. Yep, that works great. Plumber's putty. I didn't think about plumber's putty. That's good stuff. It's expensive though. Play-Doh's like 50 cents a container. Plumber's putty can be pricey. That's good stuff though. Hello, Bob from Louisiana. Donald Trudeau. Hello, Donald. Hey, from Washington. That's Yellowsea, hello. Kevin Carpenter, send me a PM in Facebook. I have some wood for you. Kevin Carpenter. Okay, Kevin, let me make a note. I'll ping you a little later. Let's see. Hello from Central Indiana. Jacob. Hello, Jacob. How are you? Thanks, Andy B. Oh, Gary Mathis thanking Andy B. Paul, please stop spamming. Yes, please stop spamming because I will block you. I hate to be that way. I don't want to be a jerk. I try to treat people with respect, but spamming, nobody likes that. You know, some people plug their blanks with carrots. I haven't seen carrots, but I'm not surprised. I've seen potatoes. I mean, I see people use potatoes, so I don't see why that wouldn't work. Okay, Dave, contact me on Facebook. Okay, Dave's Creation, message retracted. Good morning, Bob. Hello, Steven. How are you, buddy? I just turned one of your blanks the other day. Thank you, by the way. Thank you. Bob McCleary, how do you get a smooth cut with carbide? Carbide is tricky. The best luck I've had is, and I rarely use it, but they make those square cutters that kind of, instead of being a perfect square, they kind of round over. They're kind of convex. So I don't know how you describe that, but instead of going straight across, they kind of have a little hump in them. And if you take those and you put it on your tool rest and you cock it up to about 45 degrees and run down your blank, what happens is, instead of having that full piece on your blank, you only have a small section, kind of like a skew, and it makes a much cleaner, much smoother cut. I've had luck with that on the round and then the rounded square carbide cutters, but I am no expert on carbide. I just rarely use it. Let's see. Bob, hi from the UK. Hello, Douglas. How are you? Donald Trudeau. Still haven't turned the pizza cutter. I have been working a lot, but you know, I understand, man. I've been working a lot lately too. It's just been crazy. Well, thank you. I like your videos on YouTube. That's from Zaxxon. Thank you very much. Bob, I will send you a message on Instagram. Okay, sounds good. Have you tried aluminum honeycomb with resin? I find it turns really... Okay, someone a while back sent me a piece of aluminum honeycomb when I was casting. There's the old pressure pot. And I haven't been casting much since then. So I have a piece, but I have not cast it, and I have not turned it. And I don't believe, I'm thinking back, in the back of my mind, I don't believe I have ever turned aluminum honeycomb cast in resin. I just don't think I have. I'm not opposed to it, I just haven't had the opportunity. Those are two radius square carbide cutters. Thank you. I never can remember when it comes down to, you know, if you guys watch me record a video, you'll see me talk about something and just all of a sudden stop because I can't remember what it is. Then I pause the video, I go get my phone, I look up what it's called, then I go back and I start the video and then I say the thing again. So that I do that all the time, man. I get on the spot and I forget things. How do you handle burl wood? Do you stabilize it? Now, burl, I have not had to stabilize because generally burl is pretty, I mean, because the grain going all directions is pretty stable wood. Normally, the only stuff I've ever had to stabilize, and I don't personally stabilize, I send it off. Like I just sent a blank from the shed from the Evil Dead, the TV show, or the movie, the two movies, to Mike DeLauter, and he stabilized it with cactus juice. Generally, you stabilize punky or soft woods or very, very porous woods. I don't know, depending on the burl, most burl, I've never had to stabilize. It's been pretty stout wood. Sometimes troublesome to turn because it's the wood is so hard. Thank you, Andy B. Kevin Carpenter, when turning honeycomb 45-degree angle, whoops. Okay, when turning the honeycomb, turn it at a 45-degree angle and take your time, sharp tools. That makes sense because aluminum honeycomb, I've turned the aluminum cans in wood before, so it's not as much aluminum as a honeycomb. It's just one or two pieces. But yeah, you've got to take super light cuts. Have you used your metal? I actually made an aluminum pin from start to finish, the entire pin, all except for the ink refill on the lathe. It was not perfect. It looked pretty good, I could have used a bit more polishing. I think I need some emery cloth or something to really polish it up. But I was pretty happy with it. And I haven't been on the metal lathe much lately. I haven't been in the shop much lately. But I want to get back to it because it's such an interesting tool and it can do so much. Let's see. Keep floors clean so you can find pieces. You know, you say that. I came out right while I was waiting to start this. I swept my entire shop into a pile and then I vacuumed it up. So my floors are clean. So today I think I can find just about anything. It won't be that way for long though. Bob, but this is from Douglas. Just had a pacemaker replaced. Just waiting for it to settle down. You need to take time out to chill. You know, I know, man. I am. This has been a horrible year with everything going on. We did not get a family vacation. Normally we take a week or so. We go somewhere, and I have been trying to talk to family, and of course nobody wants to do this. But I said, look, over Christmas, surely this will all be cleared up by Christmas. Over Christmas, we have 2 weeks off. Let's just take the whole family and go on a cruise, go to the beach, just go somewhere, and that'll be their gift. Instead of buying the presents and we'll go down there. We'll just get a small tree. We'll celebrate Christmas somewhere warm and just relax and kick back. Nobody wants to do it. Everybody wants to stay here, and I agree with you, Douglas. I need a break. I think everybody does because being cooped up, you would think it would be relaxing, but it's not. It's stressful. It's very stressful. Not being able to go to a ball game, not being able to go, watch your kid play, not being able to go to a restaurant, eat a decent meal or a movie. It's stressful. Hi, Bob. Sent you some pics of pins made. Okay, great. I will look at them after I get done today. I don't want to look at them during the podcast. I'm sorry, during the live cast. But thank you so much, Helmut. I appreciate that. Can you please do a video on how you turn a burl wood that is not stabilized? Let me dig around and see if I've got a piece of burl. Somewhere I might have a piece, and I probably can. Let me see if I can find a piece. I think I have some burl wood here. Let's see. Do you turn projects other than pins? I do turn things other than pins, not super often. The thing is, pins have kind of become my niche. I've been wanting to, and this is one of the reasons why I'm learning the skew. I plan to learn the skew, and then I plan to learn a couple of other tools, one of which is a bowl gouge. And once I learn the bowl gouge, I've shown this before, but I turned this little box, okay? And see how the box all lines up and everything? And listen, that thing has a nice pop when it opens. It's got a good tight fit. And I want to learn some tools so that I can turn more things like this. I mean, I love the box, and I love, how it's almost, with the exception of that one little line where the top separates. Now, that's a very plain line. I didn't do any design on it. I was just fiddling around trying to figure it out one day. So I want to turn more boxes. I want to start turning possibly some, I don't know about platters and bowls right now. They just haven't bit me yet, but some vessels or some hollow forms, things like that, I would like to try. Right now, learn the skew, get better with the skew, then learn how to sharpen and use the bowl gouge, and we'll get there. I'm starting to branch out a little bit. Kevin Carpenter, Zach, let's see. Eddie Stipe. I used the shop for a getaway. I do too, Eddie, but I used the shop for a getaway too. But the thing is, I hate to say it, but it's depressing not being able to go out and have a decent meal or see a movie and break that monotony. And I used the shop early on, and I was out here every day, and I kind of got burned out a little bit. So I'm having a hard time, getting into the shop. I have not turned a wood pin on the metal lathe. I did turn a acrylic pin. It was a Luminolite blank on the wood lathe. On the metal lathe, I mean. It's not as good though because I was turning. Right now, my gearing, I'm missing one of my gears, or not my gears, but my the spindle that the belt goes in, the pulley. Missing one of the pulleys, and I couldn't get the speed up above maybe 450, 500, somewhere in there. So it's kind of hard to turn. You need that stuff turning fast to get smooth cut. I turn wood pins on my metal lathe. I don't see why you couldn't, especially if you can get the speed up. The metal lathe is such an awesome tool. If you got a metal lathe, then you can make another lathe if you have a metal lathe. Those things are awesome. I've been trying to develop better technique for double dyeing burl stabilized in cactus juice. That's something I've never done, but Jim Hines, a guy who taught me bespoke pin turning, triple stabilized some hackberry one time that was absolutely gorgeous. Blue, green, and a purple. And I'm not sure how he did it. I don't know how that works. Hello, Bob. Hello, everyone. Hello, Ray. Ray Gonzalez, very good friend of mine. I just finished a 16-inch box. Ooh, I bet that's beautiful. Kevin Carpenter, 16-inch box elder bowl. Hello, Bob. Nice to hear you live. Hello, Eric. How are you, buddy? Another good friend of mine there. What wood do you put in a fire? Anything that gets damaged in the shop. There's a box over there on the floor of just little small pieces that I throw. Anything that doesn't work out, I toss in the box. I've got 2 or 3 of those boxes full, big boxes in the shed, and it'll all go on the fire. I get to a point where it gets down so small, I had too much of it, and I had to let go. So pretty much anything. Don't forget the thumbs up. Yes, please thumbs up. Hi all, smash the like button. Douglas and Ray, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate that. How big of a lathe do you have to do a 16-inch bowl? Okay, where the spindle comes out of your headstock. This is the bed of your lathe. This is your headstock spindle. You must have at least 8, probably 9 inches. So probably a 10-inch lathe, because I don't know that they may make a 9-inch. But if it was right at 8 inches, you were going to make 16 because it would hit the bed of the lathe. But the distance from the center of your headstock to the top of your lathe bed, double that, and that's how big of a bowl or a platter you can make on your lathe. So you would probably need a 10-inch lathe to make a 16-inch bowl. And the other thing you have to worry about is, does the motor in the lathe have enough oomph to keep that spinning, especially in the beginning when you're taking a rough piece of wood and you're trying to true it up, because that's a lot of torque, right? So. I don't know anything at all about bending wood. I've never bent wood. I've watched people do it, and what they do is they take strips of wood, they steam it, and then they bend it around molds or forms that they make, with dowel rods, and let it dry, and it holds the shape. But I don't really know any more than that. You'd have to probably Google a couple of videos on bending wood, because it's just not something I ever have done, and I don't really see with what I do. I don't see a need for that right now. I'm not going to say never. Okay, I have a Powermatic 3520 and a Jet 1221. Yeah, I'm so jealous. Man, I'm so jealous. God, time to block that. Hi, everyone. I hope you all have a great day. Bob, I just wanted to say thanks for pointing me in the direction of wood turning wonders for sharpening. After watching an older video of yours, I'll be getting one of their setups. Yeah, they're expensive. That's a hard pill to swallow, is the sharpening. That's why a lot of people start off with carbide, because you just flip the cutter around or buy a new cutter. They're not that expensive. But once you buy once, cry once on the sharpening. Once you get a good sharpening system and you figure out how to use it, oh my gosh, it is like a world of difference. Yes, please. Okay, I put them in timeout for the time being. Well, if they come back and do the same thing, I'll figure out how to block them, because I'm not sure how to do that. Hi, Bear Creek. Bear Creek on here? Yep, sure is. There it is. Hi, Doug. Bear Creek Woodworking. Andy B. Okay, I did, Andy. I put a timeout on it. Block didn't come up, so I timed them out. Sell more pins. I mean, I got a video. Believe it or not, I have a video of pins I want to sell. I put the video together. It is literally setting unlisted on my YouTube channel. I just haven't released it, and it's just, God, I'm torn. I go back and forth and back and forth. That's one of those internal struggles. And then it's a time thing, because when you do that, you've got to watch it, because otherwise you get 3 people wanting to buy the same pin. Well, you need to react quickly so people aren't thinking, oh, I got the pin, and 3 days later they find out, no, you didn't. So I got to set aside some time when I can do that. But I will sell some. Could you give me a shout out? Well, I'll say hello to you, Brett. I've been avoiding doing too many shout outs, because once I do one, then I get a swarm of people wanting shout outs, and then the channel becomes a shout out channel, and then people start to complain. I made a modified semi pencil from brass and one from aluminum on my wood. Yes, you can turn brass and aluminum on a wood lathe. Carbide's the best for that, and you really just got to be careful, because it's hard to do, but it can be done. And once you figure it out, it can be done very well. I've turned aluminum mandrels on my wood lathe, so definitely. Bob, I need one of those reverse switches for my lathe. Yeah, you know something, Ray? I built that reverse switch, and I used it a couple of times, but I really don't use it that much. The bad thing is, if you have a chuck on there and you reverse, you need to put like a worm screw in that chuck, not a worm screw, an Allen key or an Allen screw, to be able to tighten it down, because when you're running in reverse, it can loosen up and come off of your lathe, and it's very dangerous. So I only used it on pins, and it's so easy just to take the pin, especially with turn between centers, loosen up the tailstock, flip it over, lock it back down. But I never used it, so I took it off. I don't even have it anymore. Bob, what project do you have in mind? I've got several projects. I've got those Omegas over there that I took votes on. I've got the pin kits cut and drilled. I've got Robert Dudinsky took some of my cutoffs from the Chaos blanks, and he cast them, and I bought one of his castings. I got that over there. I've got several of my custom blanks over there. I did yesterday. I turned 4 of my custom blanks, and of those 4 custom blanks, I found it's really difficult to drill down the center, so they were all off center. So I re-drilled a couple of them, or since I made more than one, I got another set of them over there to attempt to turn. Keep your fingers crossed they turn out. I probably will show the video either way, because I know you guys are interested, but custom blanks can be a pain in the fang to drill, let me tell you, and drill straight. Let's see. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. We're at trying to grow my pins. Pin selling is tough, especially right now. The best way to sell pins is word of mouth. And the way I got started doing it is I gave a pin to a buddy of mine one time. And he came back and said, man, my brother saw that pin. He loved it. And I said, well, I'll tell you what. You tell your brother I sell those pins for, and at the time it was a slim line. I said, $25. And I will give you 25% or 20%, whatever, of the sale. I forget what I told him exactly. So he went out and sold the pin, and then I gave him like $5 for a slim line. You're talking a $2 pin, a $3 blank. You got $5 in it, $15 profit at $20. So that wasn't bad, right? Well, next thing I know, I told him, every pin you sell, I'll give you whatever. And this guy starts bringing me business. Well, then those people start coming back wanting more pins. All of a sudden, it was graduation time, where it was getting close to a holiday like Christmas or whatever. And word of mouth got around, and that was the best for me. I did a couple of shows. Shows are fun. Shows are great to get out and meet people. And I did okay at them, but shows are a lot of work. A lot of work. But you can grow it. It's just hustling and getting your name out there, and a good. Never let a product go out that is not perfect, because one failed product, man, that can cost you. Howdy, Bob. This is from James Hanley. Have you made a video on how to make a Celtic knot pin blank? I did a long time ago, but it's a real dumpy video. I've been wanting to make more of them, and hopefully with some of the stuff I've been doing over here with segmenting, I wouldn't mind trying some. I've got it figured out how to cut 1/16 of an inch and eighth of an inch strips of wood, and really that's what I have as an 1/8 inch blade. So I need to do a little more testing, but I may redo that video, because the one I have was done a long time ago, and it's not that great. My old videos are still out there, and like I said, you grow, right? You get every pin you do, you get better. So they're just not all that great. I've torched some Purple Heart. You know, it works pretty well if you don't torch it too long. Gives it a brilliant color. Switching between you and SpaceX Landing. Oh, I forgot that was today. Glenn McAvoy, Brett McCleary, it's okay. Ray Gonzalez, just need one for sanding. Oh, we're talking about the reverse. Yeah, they do come in handy for that, but just make sure you lock your chuck down so you don't have any issues there. Paul Jacobson, hi Bob, have you tried burning names? I did early on. My brother-in-law has a laser, and it's like, it's a monster laser. I forget. It's got like a 3 foot by 3 foot pad. You can put stuff in. It's an they use it in their business, right? He has a business, and I've taken pins over there and I've engraved names in them, and they're awesome. They look amazing. But I can use it anytime I want. But the thing is, it's about a 25-minute trip over, 25-minute trip back, and it's not worth it for me because I don't really sell pins. And even if I did, just to do one pin, and the markup on you take 25 and 25, that's 50 minutes, and another probably 25, 30 minutes to do it. You're talking an hour and a half. You'd have to add on the pin price. I really couldn't do it. But if I had a laser at home, yeah, I'd do it all the time. That's awesome. What's your favorite pin to turn? It's in the Sierra family, and it's sold by Classic Nib. It's called a Monarch. That's got to be my favorite pin to turn because it's simple. It's a single blank, kind of like a Sierra, right? Just a single blank. These are not Monarchs. These are Sierras and Gatsby. That's Sierra and a Gatsby. But the pin is just so well made, and I really like the quality of the pin. That's probably my favorite. I turn a lot of those, and they got some really cool bands with interlocking circles or little crosses. Beautiful, so many different finishes. I really like the Monarch. That's got to be my favorite pin. I'm getting no sound. Whoa, wait a minute, where'd they go? On my end. Can everybody else still hear me? Gary Mathis. Bye, Gary. Have a great day. Bob, fingers crossed. Angie, what made you want to start turning? That's a long story, Angie. 6th grade, go way back. I signed up for a typing class, and a couple days into the class, there were me and 4 or 5 other boys in there. Principal came down and spoke to the teacher. The teacher said, Bob, you and these other kids go with principal. So we all left with the principal, walking down the hall. The principal's comment was, boys don't need to know how to type. And he took us to shop class. So I can build you a really nice coffee table, but I can't type. In shop class, I got a chance to turn a bowl. Now, this was nothing fancy. I took 3/4 inch plywood. It was probably 8 inch wide by I don't know how many inches long it was, 60 inches, whatever that I bought. You would go in and a couple of bucks, you'd buy a board, and I cut it up and I glued 4 or 5 pieces together, and I turned a bowl out of pine. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. The bowl was nothing to look at, nothing to write home about, but I really enjoyed it, right? And I always thought, I'd love to get back into turning. And I looked at it over the years, but I just never bit. I went to a garage sale. We're driving home one day, and there's this monster garage sale. My wife says, hey, you want to stop? Why not? For killing time. It was a Saturday afternoon. And I walk up, and on the bank, the house had a real steep hill. There was a box with 2 lathe rails in it, and a motor and a bunch of other parts, and a little bag of tools there, 5 tools. The guy had 25 bucks on it. Hey, does it work? Oh, well, it worked when I took it apart, blah, blah. I said, well, I'm kind of taking a chance because I can't turn it on. I said, would you take 20 bucks for it? Sure. So I bought it. I took it home. I got a piece of plywood. I assembled it, put it all together. All the parts were there except for the drive center. So I sourced that on eBay. Got the thing working, mounted it to this board, put a light switch on it where I could turn it on and off, and I used it for a while. I just started just jabbing at wood, tearing wood up, right? So then I started looking online for projects I could do, and I saw ink pens. I thought, those are some pretty quick projects. I think I'll try that. So I, at the time, talked my wife into buying a manager, which cost more, several times what the lathe cost, probably twice what the lathe cost. and bought some bushings and bought some pin kits and a few different things, and just started hacking pin kits apart and made some pretty horrible looking pins in the beginning. Don't we all? And it just sort of grew. Laney Shaughnessy at one point, I was on the UFOWW, the United Federation of Woodworkers, and I was writing some articles, how-to articles on pin turning, and Laney was doing videos, and he said, man, you ought to do videos. So I started doing a few pin turning videos, and the rest is kind of history. So that is a very abbreviated version of how I got started turning pins. I fell into it, right? It was an accident, but it was a good accident, and it's been a blessing. Is there any difference between carbide, high-speed steel, diamond tools? I've never used diamond. I've used carbide. I think carbide is extremely sharp and extremely aggressive, and I have a lot of trouble using it, but that's on me. That's not the carbide. The difference is, I think you can get just as good a finish with carbide as you can get with high-speed steel. I can't speak to diamond because I've never used it. The difference is, carbide, you go straight into the blank. High-speed steel, you drop the tool and you're at an angle, right? The angle to compensate for the bevel. I've turned with high-speed steel for so long that I drop the tail end of my tool, the handle, plant it in my side, and then I come in, I work at an angle. When I get high-speed steel, I start out going in straight, and then muscle memory, I drop an angle, boom, I destroy my blanks. So I prefer high-speed steel. It's a much steeper investment to get into high-speed steel because you've got to have a sharpening system. But I prefer it, and I think I prefer it because I grew up with it. It's like anything, right? If you grow up and your daddy drives Fords his whole life, you're usually a Ford man, right? Just how it works out. Donald, whoa, that bounced off the screen. Bob, I have a cypress knee stump and hanging on to you. I think I should. Unless it's rotted or something, I don't think you should have. I've turned cypress knee before, and I didn't have to stabilize it. If you want to have it stabilized, like you could add color to it or something, it would not hurt to stabilize it. And there are a lot of people who do that. I would honestly, instead of investing in a couple of $100 for your stabilizing equipment and your cactus juice is probably $100, I'd find somebody and send it to them and have them stabilize it for you for a small fee, just to see if you like it. And if you do, then that might be something, because you say you're from Louisiana, so yeah, you probably have access to all kinds of cypress knees. It's beautiful wood when you turn it too, by the way. Gorgeous wood. But I've turned it native and not had to stabilize it. Good sound now. Good, John. I don't know what happened there. Doug Munjum, I made some pins, 15, and gave them to the church. Hey, man, that's great. I've donated a lot of pins over the years. That's a great fundraiser. It can be a little depressing. I had a guy contact me. This has been a couple of years ago, and they were raising money for some kind of a sportsman's club, right? And so I donated a pin. I paid $45 for the blank, and I actually put it on a bolt action kit, which was another 15 or 16 bucks, right? So, I had 60 bucks in the pin, and I would have sold it for $120, $125, right? But I thought, man, this is a sportsman's club. These guys will appreciate this. It had fly fishing line wrapped around the tube. It had a hook, a fly on a hook mounted to the wire, and it was cast in clear resin. I turned it. It was beautiful. So it kind of had hunting and fishing. It was a true sportsman pin. And the damn thing brought $30 or $35. Man, it's like, God, that just depressed me. I hate that. So definitely donate and help out your church. Good on you for that, but don't watch the sale price. It could depress you. I've had antler bolt actions go for $15, and it's just like, oh, so don't watch the sale price, but definitely help out your churches and organizations. They really need it, and it does help. But next time, I'll just donate the money. Have you done? I have not done stone inlays. I've done shells inside of acrylics, and man, it like beat you to death. It's like shrapnel. I'm going to say Sierra. Okay, Ray, Sierra's a great pin. You do a lot of Sierra style. I do a few cigars. The difference is, the reason why I do so many Sierras is because I do so many videos, and I need to kind of keep the price down. So I buy those Sierras in bulk, and I get them at a better price. I'll buy 50 or 100 at a time. And the rest of the pin, I get about the best price on those, and they're a nice looking pin. So that's why I buy so many of them, and that's why I do so many of those. I'm happy to do the others, but it gets expensive if I go out and buy, like $15, $20 kits, to do videos with, because the videos, they do make a little bit of money, but if you go look at how they make money, it takes about a year before you really make any revenue on and it's not much, but any revenue on a video. If I can dig up some cigar kits, I'll turn a couple. Audio is adequate. Yeah, I got some people having a little trouble and some people getting good audio. So I do have this mic right here. So if I turn and move, I move a lot. It should keep it pretty steady. So hopefully it's just an internet issue. We can get it fixed up. Good, thank you, Eddie. Good morning, Sean. How are you? Dave's Creations. Can you teach me how to interlace? And can you teach how to interlace and stone pins? I've never done it. I don't, honestly, you've got me curious now. I'll need to look up what that means, but I don't know how to do that. So I'll do a little Googling and see what I can find on that. Voice is getting kind of, I did a wood turning project in college years ago and been wanting to start since. Just got a Harbor Freight lathe and carbide tools. All right, well, you're in business. That's all you need. Keep an eye on your Harbor Freight. What will happen is over time, small lathes, which is what I use because I do pins. I don't need a big lathe. I had one and I sold it because I never used it. They don't wear the bearings out quickly. But the Harbor Freight lathe, my bearings wore out in it, and I was really surprised. I did maybe 2,000 or 100 pins on it, and the bearings wore out. So I figured that they were a cheap Chinese bearing, and they probably weren't the best. I could have replaced them, but instead I just parted the lathe out, and I'm using parts of it around the shop for different things. So just keep an eye on that because they will eventually wear on you. But like I said, I did several thousand pins, so you got a long time. I do not sell from Germany to the U.S. on behalf of terms product liability. How do you protect yourself if somebody misuses a fountain pen? Ink in the eye. Can you be I don't think you could be prosecuted for millions if somebody misuses a fountain pen. The fountain pens that I make use the exact same nibs that say the TWSBI uses, and the TWSBI is just a plastic acrylic pen. Mine is a plastic acrylic pen. I don't think someone could sue you if somebody poked their eye out with a pen. That's probably on them. Now, if my pen exploded in their face, different story. But that's probably not going to happen. I don't think you could be sued for millions. I've not had any issues. I've had people in the past that have had issues with pens. Like I used to use CA for gluing tubes into pens. And what I found that on acrylic pens, after a while, the acrylic expands and contracts. It'll break loose because the CA actually gets hard. It'll break loose and the pen will come apart. And I've had people contact me about that. And I've told them, hey, if you'll send it to me, I will fix it. And I usually knock the pen apart, re-glue the tube in with epoxy. I'll put it back on the lathe. I'll buff it up and take any scratches out. Put a nice Renaissance wax on there and hit the buffing wheels with it. Get it looking real nice. Put it all back together. Send it back to them. And I've had nothing but happy customers. So I've been really lucky. So thanks for all the info. Gotta rock. Hey Donald, thank you for hanging out with us, brother. I appreciate it. Let's see, Rod Jaworski, the mad scientist of pens. How's it going? I kind of like that. That's a good title. It's going pretty good, man. Nothing too crazy going on. I got a few odd blanks I'm working on over there, but just whatever, hanging out in the shop, goofing off, having a good time. I did this live early today because I knew it would get me out in the shop early. Otherwise, I'd probably sit around, not get out till noon or 2, and I thought, I got to get out there early. Let's see. Is it possible to turn laminate wood? You mean like the decking and stuff, like Trex? Yes, it's very possible. I have a video on that that I did. It turns okay. You got to be careful when sanding because the plastic in it, it'll heat up and kind of melt. I think I wetted the sandpaper, because getting the scratches out is kind of tough, and getting a good finish on it's kind of tough. I think I did put CA on mine, but yeah, you can turn it. There's no problem with it, and there's some beautiful colors too of the laminate wood, if that's what you meant. Is it necessary? I'm sorry, Mr. Brown. I'm going to have a hard time pronouncing your first name, but you guys can see him in the comments. EB, little green icon. And I've seen you use both thin and medium CA for your finishes. Is it necessary to use both? Can you get good results with just thin or just medium? The answer is probably. What I do is I use the thin because the thin will soak into the pin. And that will seal the pin, okay, so that if it gets wet or damp in the future, it's not going to soak up and expand and contract, which wood does. It absorbs and releases moisture. So I let it soak in. I put multiple coats to let it soak in, and then I use the medium because if you look at the pin under the light, the thin never fills the little grain, right? So I'll put several coats of medium on until I get a smooth finish over the grain and don't have any divots. You probably could get by with just using, oh, my hair looks terrible this morning, with just using medium, but it won't soak in as good. But I think you could probably get by with just using the medium. I wouldn't recommend thin. You'd have to build up so many coats, it would take you forever. Paul Jacobson, when I burn names into my pins, I get fine powder of aluminite or brass. Ooh, that's nice. So you burn the name and you go back and you CA glue or epoxy the brass or the aluminum in, and then you just sand it or turn it off. That's cool. Reminds me of a cross pin I got when I graduated high school that had RJB engraved as a black pin with gold accents, and they carved my initials and it had like gold in the initials so that it stood out against the black pin. So I think that's a great technique. I like that. Jacob, where do you get your fountain pen parts? fpnibs.com. F like Frank, P like Paul, NIBS like a pen nib.com is where I get the Yowo. And I know somebody's going to complain I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I'm from the Midwest. I pronounce everything wrong. But JOWO, either number 5 or number 6 nibs. That's where I get those from. You can go to the classicnib.com. Okay, I'm sorry, classicnib.com. Classic nib, no spaces, and they sell Daycom, DAYCOM, number 5 and number 6 nibs, which are made by Jowo or Yowo, however you pronounce it, and they just put the Daycom emblem on there. It's a branch of them, right? So it's the same nib, the same quality, less money, and they will tell you you can order fine, extra fine, medium, all kinds of different nibs, but call them at the Classic Nib, and the Daycoms are great nibs, and they can tell you, like, when you get them, how to clean them, how to everything with them. They sell the pin flush, they sell everything you need. But that's where in the future I've got a Yowo here, but that's the kind of nib you get right there, and it comes like this. You've got the housing, which is the back plastic part. You got the feed, which is the black ribbed part, and you got the nib. And this is what you'll get from them. I don't remember what they cost. They also have the taps and stuff so that you can tap them, and then you can get them right from them. They're great people. Call them any questions. Tell them I sent you. They both know me. Debbie and Niels both know me, and they're good friends of mine. Great people who bend over backwards, will help you any way they can, and they'll get you a good product at a really good price. Your work is the best, brother. Thanks, Rod. I really appreciate that. I don't consider myself to be a great turner. I consider myself to be a middle of the road turner. But I appreciate when people say things like that. It's always nice when people appreciate what you do, and I'm just some guy in a garage. That's all I look at myself as, right? So. Bye, everyone. Take care, Dave. Man, it was great talking with you. Hello, Robert from Crosscut Creations. Sorry, I'm like, man, you missed it, Robert. We talked about you for the first 50 minutes. All we talked about is you. And now you show up and we're done talking about you. You're not going to know anything we said. I meant turn bent lamination wood used in some furniture builds. Oh. I don't know if you can turn it, but by golly, I'd sure be willing to try. I don't see any reason with being able to turn it. I think once it's bent, it may have some when it's bent, it may have some odd stresses on the wood. But I really, with a sharp tool, I don't see why you would not be able to turn it. I think you could. All right, things slowed down in the chat, so I'm going to take another quick drink here. Get dry talking. Whoops, better put the lid on tight. I just spilled it all down the front of me. It's just tea. Not a coffee drinker. I like tea. That right there, Earl Grey. Straight, just drink it hot, black. Don't put anything in it. I love it. All right, Sean Kennedy. I've been watching your videos for years because I can relate more to your videos because my shop / art studio is just a small garage. Yeah, you know, and that's all you need. I mean, it's a great place to work. Yeah, you know, I appreciate you watching. Thank you. I've fielded questions from you in comments and videos for years, Sean. I feel like I know you, even though we've never met. But hopefully, everybody keep your fingers crossed. 2021 is a better year, and we get to have some of these darn pin shows, and we all get to travel because I really want to get to some of the shows, meet people, you know, see all the new products, buy blanks. You know, just I missed not having a single show this year. That was just such a bummer. Let's see. What else you guys got? The comments are slowed down. We're right at an hour, but I'm willing to stick around a little longer. If you guys have questions or want to keep talking, we can go a little bit longer. I don't want to go 2 hours because it's too long, but if we go an hour and 15 or so. Hello, Art. How are you? Art Alonzo, very good friend of mine. How do you handle temperature control and humidity in your garage shop? Man, I fight it tooth and nail. I actually got a really good suggestion. I've got a little, you can't really see it. It's below the video, but I got a little air conditioner, 24,000 BTU air conditioner. My shop is on the corner of my house, and the sun rises on one side of my shop and sets on the other, and it's brick. So it's in full sunlight. There are no trees all day long. The bricks take a lot of heat, and they hold that heat. So the shop is like it's like a pizza oven, right? It's 12-foot ceiling, so the heat gets way up high, and it's hard to circulate that. I've been working with it. I've got the window air conditioner. That helps a little bit. What I'm going to do, I think, is you can't really see it, but there's a light bulb right there. I think I'm going to back up. I'm going to pull the wire back and cap that and put a fan there. I can't put a fan there because it's too close to the garage door opener. But if I pull that back and maybe put a 48-inch or 52-inch fan there, just to move air, I can put it in reverse to pull the cooler air up and run the hot air around the corners. The other thing someone suggested is right there. Whoa, I've got an attic space. They suggested just propping that up because the attic is vented and the heat will go up and leave the garage. It'll be pulled into the attic and out of the house, and you can crack a door and get a little bit of draft, or a window. That's a good idea. I was thinking about that, but what I was thinking is I may put a fan in that. That's actually a piece of drywall probably, so I probably would replace it with like a 3/4 inch plywood, paint it white, cut it to fit, and then mount a fan in it so it wouldn't sag or anything, that like an exhaust fan, so that I have a switch down here. I could flip the switch, the fan kicks on and starts sucking the hot air out of the shop. So I'm working with some of those things. The air conditioner does a killer job dropping the humidity. It just has a hard time keeping up and dropping the heat because the shop, it's 12 by 24 by 12. It's like a big box. And because of the sun heating the shop, I have a hard time with the heat. But that was a great idea. And if I can move the hot air on out, I'm going to work on that. For the time being, I may take a 2x4 and just prop that up. But I think that is going to get replaced with 3/4 ply and an exhaust fan. Bob Hayden. Hello, Bob. Bob, did you watch my shop update yesterday? You asked on a Patreon hangout, how come I do projects like running pipe in my yard, but I never show the pipe operating? I literally showed, we had a massive rainstorm, and I showed that 6-inch pipe pumping water into the drain just for you, and I even mentioned your name on there. So I hope you check that out, man. Jacob, any pin events in Indiana can I hit up? Man, Indiana, there's nothing. The only thing we have is the woodworking show up in Indianapolis once a year. It got canceled this year. There's the closest shows to me are Augusta, Georgia. There's one in Chicago. There's one in St. Louis, and there's one up in it's in West Virginia. And My favorites are West Virginia and Augusta, Georgia, and I hope to hit them both next year. I really would like to hit the Chicago show too. We'll just have to see how funds are going because, you know, the shows do get a little expensive, but there's nothing super close, man. I wish. Gosh, I wish. Maybe one day we'll get enough interest we can put something together. Denise. Hello, Denise. Oh, wait a minute. Dennis. Sorry, I looked at that. I read it wrong. Dennis Barney. Howdy from Texas. Hello, Dennis. Paul Jacobson. I slipped. It's dinner time in Denmark. Wow, Paul, I didn't know you're from Denmark. That is sweet. Thanks for joining, man. Thank you for the nice live chat. Looking forward to the next one. Thank you for joining, man. I really appreciate it. Angie, I love Earl Grey tea with every morning, 20 ounces. That's how I start my day, and it's water the rest of the day, unless I have a craft soda. But I only drink 1 or 2 of those a week. So I love my Earl Grey, man. It's perfect. Bob, your chaos blank. What is the best way to turn them? Best way to turn, man. They turn okay, here's the trick. When you make a chaos blank, as you do your cuts and your glue ups, watch your grain and keep your grain going in as close to the same direction as you can. If you get grains going in opposite direction, they're going to be misery to turn, and you're going to just cuss yourself like crazy. So I'm very careful to keep the grain going in the same direction, and then it turns just like any other blank. They turn amazing. And slather them with the Tite Bond. Use the Tite Bond like somebody else is paying for it, because once that builds a bond, it's not going to break apart, and you'll have great luck with them. Art Alonzo, when do you think you will cast more blanks? Art, I've been thinking about it. It's just I haven't been spending the time in the shop. The problem is I have too many good buddies like Robert Dudinsky and Michael DeLauter who cast. And if I was going to cast a blank, I'd have to go out and buy minimum $90 worth of resin, because that's about what it costs for the small resin. I can call those guys and I can pay them to make a blank for me and get the blank I want at a very market price, a very reasonable price. They make a little money. I get a cool blank. And I need to get to a point where I want to do a large batch of something, and I haven't hit that yet. But I will get back to casting. I kept the pot. Everything I need is in the pot or in that cabinet, and I'll get back to it one of these days. It's all about timing and need. And right now, I want to learn my tools, my skew and my bowl gouge, sharpening and use. I want to get more time on my metal lathe, so I'm kind of leaning that way at the moment. But those are my go-to guys when I need something. John Hayes, I've seen only 2 videos on stone turning. It looks like they use carbide tools. I'll bet you would have to, because I have some mammoth tusk, and of course it's petrified, and that's what the guy told me is I've been scared to turn it because drilling it, I've heard it just like explodes because of the heat. I just haven't done any of that stone. I'll have to do some looking up because I'm really unfamiliar with it. I saw the drainage tile video. You've been very busy. Hey man, that thing worked great. Sean Kennedy, I know the feeling of hot shop. My shop is non-insulated wood and huge gaps in the garage door. I am lucky in that when they built my house, they did insulate above the garage. Normally they don't. And I'm not sure why both our garages have insulation above them. Now, I'm not saying it's enough. It probably could use more. I'm sure that would the builder use the least amount they could. It's probably like R2 or something, you know what I mean, instead of like R19 or whatever. But I may at some point go back up there. I did this at my other house, and I laid a second layer of R19 insulation in the opposite direction. The joists run this way, have insulation in them. I laid R19 this way to re-insulate the house. And I'm seriously thinking about doing that, even though this house is only a few years old, because I got my electric bill the other day, and there was a notice in there that I'm using more electricity than my neighbors. Now, I have a feeling that some of that, and that's why I'm not running it, but some of that is my AC, and some of that is my 220 dust collector, because when I'm out in the shop, I'm using both of those quite a bit, and that may be what's cranking that electric bill up. But I'm thinking about laying some insulation down in the attic. I've got some caulk for the windows. We're going to caulk the windows and just try to tighten some things up, because things have settled, and I know the builders, they hire contractors based on who gives us the cheapest price. So you kind of get what you pay for, and things aren't always done as well as they should be. So old Bob is looking at tightening that up. Douglas Mudgeon, Bob, your blanks double smudging. Let me back up. To turn my blanks. Oh, the best way to turn them is, like I said, I use my roughing gouge, a 3/4 roughing gouge. Now today I would use my skew. I've been practicing quite a bit with it. They turn like hot butter. I mean, they turn just whatever you use to turn a stamp wood blank. Just keep it sharp, and it's going to turn it perfect. No problem. Sorry, I misunderstood that. The casting rabbit hole can get deep. That's from Robert at Crosscut, and that's the other thing. Casting's expensive. You almost have to sell your work when you cast in order to offset the cost, because it does get expensive. Kevin Carpenter. Okay, got to get to the new pressure pot. Oh, Kevin, you're lucky, man. That's gonna be a nice one. Good luck. Good luck. Have fun with that. Well, guys, it's really starting to slow down. We're a little over an hour. If you guys have any additional questions or anything you want to ask, I'll go another 10 or 15 minutes. Otherwise, we'll wind it down and move on. And don't forget, we got You Made That podcast tonight. Oh, by the way, I want to tell you guys, we're doing another viewer questions or listener questions on You Made That. So if you guys have any questions that you'd like to send to me, please email me at rjdwoodturner@ufoww.com. It's in every one of my videos. It's my contact, my emails there. Email me your questions. And remember, last time we didn't answer a lot of the pin-centric questions because we have a very diverse cast. Mike's into casting. He does some turning, different bowls, platters. Rebecca does all kinds of very creative turning, artistic turning. So when you ask questions, try to get something that we all three can take a shot at. I had some really good questions, and I answered them on the last live, but they were more questions like we would answer here, about CA glues and things like that didn't really apply to the other people. So shoot me some questions if you got them, and we'll pop them in tonight and see if we can get them answered. Have you thought of getting sponsors for your videos? Yes, at one point I had a lathe company, a very prestigious lathe company looking at me, and I was discussing, I put together, I don't want to say who, but I put together information about where I saw my channel going and what I saw myself doing. And as I put that together and turned it in, we were in discussion. The company that I worked for sold. And when the company sold, I literally got buried. I mean, I was working insane hours trying to take everything from the old company and migrate it to the new company and get it working under the way that the new company works. I don't want to say too much about that because I don't want to say something that could be proprietary, but I was buried and my channel just went, it took a nosedive there for a long time, and I'm still having trouble bringing it back. I'm still very, very busy, but I'm working hard to bring the channel back. Sponsors. The other thing is about sponsors, I love the idea of a sponsor, but then I worry about, can I deliver videos, because I have a hard time keeping regular videos, and sponsors really need that in order to push their products. And if you look at my channel, I might have 35,000 followers, but if you look at the videos, you immediately get 2,000 hits. So I really only have about 2,000, 2,500 of you who are my extremely loyal viewers. So that's another reason why sponsors are not as interested in my channel, but I wouldn't say no. It would depend on the sponsorship deal. We do have a sponsor for our podcast, Sabertooth Tools. And if you go to Sabertooth and use their our code YMT, you made that, the first letter, you get a 10% discount on all Sabertooth tools. So so I want to promote them here too, because they are our sponsor over there. Oh my God, thank you, Art Alonzo. Art Alonzo just did a super chat and just sent me a $5 donation. Art, thank you so much. I truly appreciate that. I really do. Art says, I need my shirt. I think he's referring to this. I've been looking at shirts. The problem is two things. Number one, the prices are way too expensive. I'm a tightwad. I like to get something for my money. And number two, the quality was not that good. This is a Hanes t-shirt. This is one of my old ones. I got resin on it and everything. The newer ones I have are Eddie Bauer. I buy a decent t-shirt and I send these off to a lady who has my logo. This is embroidered into the shirt. So I can talk to this lady, and if she's interested, I forget what she charges per logo, but perhaps you could send her a shirt. She could embroider it for her embroidery fee, send it back, and you could get a shirt. The other thing is I'm looking for a good quality company. I've looked at Zazzle and a few others, and they just, man, I just haven't found one that I'm comfortable with yet. I've been working on it. Rebecca DeGroot has been helping me because she does shirts and things like that. One of these days I will have one. It's a lot of work to get ready for, but we're going to have shirts. They're going to have my logo on them, probably something like this. I don't know if it'll be embroidered. I'd love to have embroidered. I'm going to have one that has, I'd like to have one that has like a drawing, and I'll get somebody to draw it, where it's just kind of somebody said, you know, you are always welcome in my shop, and it'll have me standing there pointing, kind of just maybe an outline on it with the cap or something. And I'd like to get one that says one more pass, because that's my catch line before I destroy blanks. So those are the 3 shirts that I'd like to have, the 3 patterns to start with. It's just, man, it's just tough getting there. You know what I mean? It's just tough getting there. But Art, I really appreciate. Oh my God, Kevin Carpenter, thank you, Kevin. Kevin just shot a $10 donation over at the live chat. Thank you, Kevin. I really appreciate that so much. I truly do. Thank you. Lots of water is used similar to diamond blades. Okay, he's talking about the diamond cutting tools. Kevin, if you got any additional questions, I'd love to answer any questions you have. And thank you once again for the donation. I truly appreciate it. Eddie Stipe, thank you for sharing. Take care, be safe. Eddie, take care, brother. Have a great day. Jackie Wilder, don't change your videos. Not only do you show mistakes, well, I will never change showing the mistakes and things like that, but I think my videos will always change a little bit, because if you go back and look at the beginning, my first videos, they were rough. I've learned to kind of cut out the unneeded stuff to keep the video kind of moving, and I've learned to kind of add as many tips as I can, and I love to show how to fix things, because that's what I needed when I started turning. And you know, everybody makes a mistake. If somebody tells you they never make a mistake, don't trust them. They're not telling you the truth. Ray Gonzalez, have you tried the black blanks that I sent you yet? No, Ray, I have those over there with my, I want to use those. Actually, did I use one of them? I did use one of them, Ray. I made a section out of one of them for a pin. I had a pin and I was turning a section, and I blew the section up. That was the color of the blank. So I made a black section. So I used part of one. So I have 1 and maybe 3/4 left. And I was hoping to use them. That's what I wanted to use them for, was sections, because if I like my sections to match my pins. Let's see, I don't have any here. Oh, well, yes, I do. Here's a pin section, and I like the section to match the pin. But if I have an issue, because this is the hardest part, then I go to the black, because a black section will always look good with pretty much just about any pin that you make. So, yes, sir, I have, and thank you so much. Who's up next here? Let's see. Sean Kennedy, will your video record the podcast? The answer is, we've been talking about video recording the podcast. We will get there eventually. The idea is to do that. We just are not ready for it. It takes a little bit of an investment. For example, to do the podcast, you've got to pay your service. You've got to buy your domain. You pay for your email addresses. You pay for your hosting. We had to buy mics. I had to buy a camera. There were a lot of things that we had to lay some money out on, all 3 of us, right? Then we've discussed video recording. At some point, we want to record the podcast. We just haven't got there yet, but we will record that. And Kevin, I just want to say thank you to you and Art Alonzo once again, both of you, for your live donations. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Angie McLaren, do you recommend using epoxy to glue tubes? I do, Angie. I used to use CA, and I had good luck with CA. I can't say that I've ever had an issue with CA releasing a wood blank. I have had issue with it releasing a resin blank, but I've moved to epoxy for everything. I just epoxy all blanks. So anytime I'm going to turn, I always have to wait 24 hours because I want that epoxy to cure. But it's a preference. I'm not saying don't use CA. A lot of people do. I had good luck with it. I just decided that I wasn't going to have another blank let loose. If I give somebody a pin, I don't want to take a chance. I want to have every base covered that I can. Kevin Carpenter, pin. I'm enjoying your videos. They help me a lot. I'm also willing to help you with drawings. Oh, Les, thank you. Thank you. Because what I'm looking for, pretty much the other ones are easy. I'm just looking for like, just kind of an outline of, I don't want it to be too detailed, right? Just an outline of me pointing with my finger so that I can put the text, "You are always welcome in my shop," you know, around it, like in a circle or something. I think that'd be cool. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Art. Kevin is, oh, don't say that about Kevin. Kevin's a good dude, Art. I know it's in jest, though. I was just wondering which one was bigger on Ray Gonzalez. Let me back up and see. Have you tried blood? Which one was bigger? Art, I'm not sure what you mean by which one was bigger. If you could sort of maybe give me a little more info on that. I've evidently missed something because I looked at them, had to use my blanks, and then you said I was just wondering which one was bigger. So I'm not sure what you mean, but I'd be happy to answer that. Bob, cannot wait for your next video. Dinner's up by all. The video I just did is out. It's on that gum nut blank that I got from Tommy Stridham out of Australia. It's a long video. I hated to put up such a long video, but I wanted to show everything because, you know, people a lot of times, I know what they do. They'll kind of skip through things, but they'll catch parts and they'll learn how, you know, how I fix things, and they'll catch the parts they need. So I try to put so much information in there. But I hopefully have some. I recorded a bunch of stuff yesterday. Hopefully I'll have some videos for you guys coming out of all that if the film looks good. Let's see. Kevin Carpenter, see you, brother. Kevin, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank you for the donation. Thanks for hanging out with me. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Daniel Allman, I saw another YouTuber use wood glue to. Yes. Oh gosh, what is his name? He's actually a really good segmented turner. The guy that I saw. I even bought his videos. Dang it, what is his name? Shoot, I can't think of the fellow's name. He's a really good turner, and he just uses wood glue to glue. He said he's never had trouble with it. I've never tried it. I'm not going to say it doesn't work, but I know who you're talking about, or I know a person who does that. His name will come to me in a minute, and I'll toss it out. See you later, Bob. Art, thank you so much, my friend. Have a great day, and we will see you again soon, I'm sure. We're going to try to do a lot more of these lives because, like I told you guys, I think I have every Friday for the rest of the year off work, so I'm going to try to throw some lives in on Fridays and Saturdays, especially as long as we're under lockdown. You know, there's nothing else going on with the kids and sports and things like that. So we're going to try to have some more of these, just to keep questions answered. And I'd like to work up a more interactive one here coming up in the future, where maybe we work on a project together. We'll see how that goes. Ned Swicky, howdy from Baltimore. Hello, Ned. Thought I'd drop in and say thank you for getting me in touch with Mike. He gave me some good ideas. Mike, you're welcome. Mike is a great guy, man. That's why he and I are friends. He's just an all-around great guy. And that label casting, he's got it dialed in. And that's why somebody asked me, why will I be doing more casting? I mean, when I need a label cast blank, I'd like to support my friends, so I go to Mike, and he makes all my label cast blanks. He's a great caster. John Hayes, I'm confused about stabilized wood. When do you need to stabilize? Okay. There's two schools of thoughts. There's a vacuum pot, or there's a vacuum chamber, and there's a pressure pot. Now, pressure pot is what I've got behind me. That's where you mix resin up and you want to reduce the bubbles, so you put air pressure on it and it squeezes the bubbles down into where they're still there, but they're not visible by the human eye. Stabilizing uses a vacuum chamber. It sucks all of the air out of the chamber, and then when you release the vacuum, the air is out of the chamber. It pulls resin into the voids in a blank. So where you want to use stabilizing is anytime you have what we call a punky blank, or a partially rotted blank, or a blank that has holes in it, wormholes, anything like that that you want to fill. Actually, you could do that in a pressure pot. But basically, any type of partially rotted or punky wood that when you turn, it tears out real easy. You can pick it with your finger and pick it loose. Those types of woods, spalted maple is a great one. Spalted hackberry are great woods that you can stabilize. And the neat thing is, when you put it in that chamber, if you put like a jar in there, instead of just dumping your resin in, you can put like dye in the jar, drop your blank into the dye, Then you pull the air out of it, you see all the bubbles coming out. It sucks that dyed resin in, and you can dye your blank as you stabilize it. Then you just put a top on the jar and save that jar, and you have red resin, blue resin, green resin, and just pull the one that you need. I hope that helps kind of clarify that a little bit. Really, 10,000 foot description, but I didn't get into too much detail, but that's kind of where I go with that. Which was better? Oh, Ray, you're talking about the blanks. Actually, the black resin that you sent me turned like a dream. I don't know what you used, whether it was Alumilite or something else, but it reminded me a lot of Alumilite. It turned just super smooth. I had ribbons coming off of it, and it was a great blank, man. And like I said, I've got the rest of it, and it'll be used for sections in upcoming pins. I think that's why you sent it to me initially, because I was looking for some black blanks to actually, and it might have been the pin that I screwed up that you sent it to me for. Now that I think about it, because it's been a while. Memory sometimes gets a little, flaky. They say memory's the first thing to go. I don't remember what the second is. John Johnson. Hello, John. Good to hear from you. Late to the party, but I second your opinion on epoxy and tubes. CA works until CA doesn't. Yeah, the trick with CA, the thing is CA, if you ever just take and put it on something, you'll see that it's brittle. You can break it. Whereas epoxy tends to have more of a rubber quality where it kind of stretches and bends a little bit. So it tends to kind of hold better when there's movement. Am I right or wrong with that? I don't know. It just, that works in my shop. I'm not telling you don't use CA. If it works for you, then please, by all means, definitely use it. I love your turning, good brother. Thank you, Jeffrey. I appreciate that. Ray Gonzalez. I love doing label casting. Yeah, Ray, I didn't realize. I knew you were doing some casting. I didn't realize you got into the label casting. That's really cool. It was Alumilite. Okay. The dyes caused no problem. I had no issue turning your blank. It polished up nicely. So, you've got it figured out. You've got it dialed in. And it was relatively solid. If I can remember correctly, I could not see through the blank once I turned it down, even down toward the nib, because I didn't make a fountain pen section out of it. I actually made a Parker refill section. I was making one of those. And it did not, I couldn't see through it. So you had a decent dye, decent mix of dye in there. So I think we've hit all the comments. All right, what do we got here? Sean Kennedy, time to get back to painting the living room. You're like me, man. When I'm working on a project like that, I find excuses to get away from the project for a little while. I like to take a break. Thanks for hanging out, Sean. Really great talking with you, brother. Yes, Ray, those blanks work great, and like I said, I've still got them over there, and they will get used. I figure I can probably get anywhere a total of 6 to 8 sections, probably 6, more like 6 by the time you cut them, out of those 2 blanks you sent me. So those are great, and anytime I have one blow up, I'm going to the straight black. I love it. John Montano. Hello from Phoenix. Started turning pins 2 years ago and stumbled on your channel. You've been a great mentor and reference. I also appreciate that you don't edit out your mistakes. Thank you, John. I do that because of new turners, right? I mean, new turners. When I first started turning, I'd screw a blank up and I'd just throw the thing away, right? Or I would turn it off the tube and try to reuse the tube, which is not a good idea. It can be done, but it's not the best idea. The tubes get too thin. And there's no reason to do that. Many times you can just turn material off and fix it, and it makes a better looking pen sometimes. It gives a cool contrast. You get something really unique when you do that. Ned, I've been painting my kitchen since March. I did our kitchen a couple of months back, it was before March, right before COVID hit, right? And I got it done in a weekend. I prepped on Friday night, basically wiped all the woodwork down with Lysol water to get any dust that might be on it, so that I could put tape on it. Then I came in on Saturday and I taped everything, because we got so many windows and doors and cabinets and got everything, got all the light plates taken off, the switch plates, got everything pulled out away from everything. And then I came in on Sunday morning and I cut it in twice with my angled brush, and then I rolled it and I was done. It turned out beautiful. Then Monday after work, we put the kitchen back together, and my wife has been happy ever since. I think I got a bathroom to do next. She was talking about wanting to do the master bath. I also painted a couple of months back, maybe 3 months back, 2 walls in my son's room. He wanted 2 accent walls. So I did that, but I think my wife wants to do the master bath next. So we'll see. King of procrastination. Yeah, you got me beat. I procrastinate a little bit, but procrastinating since March, you are the champion, my brother. Lisa Albrecht. Hi, Lisa. How are you? Good to hear from you. When you added the Paduk in the Charlie Brown blanks, did you have to consider grain direction? The answer is I should have, but I couldn't. And the reason why, here's my Paduk blank. Here's my grain direction. It's only that thick. I just hacked a piece off the end. So whenever I turned the first one, because I was turning cross direction like this, I caught it, and let me grab it. Here's one end that worked out well, and you can see the Paduk turned nicely. On the other end, I grabbed the Paduk and peeled it off, and when I did, it peeled a little piece of the maple out because they were glued together. So you've got to be really, really careful of that. I would have rather had it running like this, but it just wasn't, wide enough. And I didn't have any Paduk cutoffs. That's what I was looking for, is the cutoff from the end of the pin. The Paduk is such an awesome contrast wood that I use up every scrap of Paduk I can get. This one is going to not work out because, that chip, I can't really turn that off. But I've got another one ready to go over there. And let me show you what I did to that one. Oh, it was a mess. Had trouble finding it, but I got another one. I tried to make this more square because the other one was a little bit off center. This one, it just needs to be squared up, and I tried to trim the blank so that I could drill right down the center so that the pattern looked good. And I actually, when I drilled it, I blew out the Paduk, but I'm not worried because you can see it's separated at the maple. So I'll turn this round, and then I'll just turn that Paduk off the end of the blank, and I'll glue another piece on there. I should be able to make this one work, and hopefully by squaring this blank up. See, the other one, I didn't go right down the center. I was a little off center. So we're gonna try another one, but I should be able to fix that up. Yeah. Maybe turn this one today. I don't know. It's been drying overnight. The epoxy's dry. I just need to square it. So yeah. But grain direction should be considered because it does make it easier. You can turn cross grain. It's just sometimes tricky. Glenn Hayhurst. Hello, Glenn. Thoughts on Gorilla Glue? I've talked about this a couple times. Gorilla Glue epoxy, the non-foaming epoxy, is awesome. I'm not a fan of the polyurethane, foaming polyurethane glue. And the reason why is a lot of people say, oh, well, it fills voids. Okay, so does epoxy. You put it on thick enough, it'll fill that void, right? But the foaming stuff, a couple of times when I did acrylic-based pins, I painted the tube, I Gorilla Glued the tube in, and you could see it looked, when it got thin and you could see where you would normally see the tube, and then the color of the tube, you wouldn't really see the tube because of the kind of camo it. You had it looked like somebody spilled a Coca-Cola in there or something, right? So I wasn't real happy with it. Is it good glue? Heck yeah. Does it hold? It's amazing. I just didn't like the aesthetics of it. So I got away from it and went to straight up epoxy. Now, Gorilla Glue epoxy, like I said, that's some tough stuff. Really good stuff. All right, we are winding down here on questions. We've been at this for about an hour and a half, guys. I think we better go ahead and wind it down. I want to get back in the shop. I got a few things I want to turn today and try to finish up a few videos that I started yesterday. I would like to thank each and every one of you for hanging out with me. I'd like to give a second thanks to Art Alonzo as well as Kevin Carpenter for joining the Super Chat and making a donation to the channel. Thank you both so very much. I truly appreciate it. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and I will see you again very soon. We are going to do a lot more of these lives because I enjoy them, and it's great getting to just Q&A with you guys. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Oh, and remember, you are always welcome in my shop. Thought I'd throw that in because why not? Hey guys, have a great day.